ready to go?
Yep.
Okay, any declarations of, just before we start, Councillor McKay is online from, I think, Colonel Gray High School. Anyway, she's online. Can you hear us, Julie?
I am here, thank you.
Okay. Any declarations of conflict of interest? None? Okay, approval of the agenda, there's one item. Moved by Councillor Yankoff, second by Councillor Duffy. All in favor, please raise your hands.
Your worship.
On the approval of the agenda? Sure.
With respect to the agenda item that's here before council, I'm given to understand that the advisory committee had meetings to go over appointments to the new committee structure.
Yes.
And I guess I'm disappointed that the committee didn't feel compelled to reach out to council, all members of city council, to have.
Councillor Tweel, I think we have to rule you out of order because you'll have to wait for the motion to come up. We're just approving the agenda.
Well, okay, then I'll come at it another way. I believe that.
No, you can vote for it or vote against it.
No,
that's we're gonna.
No, I understand that, but the committee, the agenda item on the agenda item that we're going to be dealing with.
Correct.
Was dealt with in a closed form.
Yeah.
We're dealing with it in an open form.
Correct.
So I guess I have to question the consistency or the lack thereof.
Yeah.
In that this.
Councillor Tweel, again, that discussion item will come up when we go to the item number 4A. So, question? All those in favor of the agenda, please raise your hands. Okay, Councillor McKay, for or against? For, against, raise your hands. 982, so Councillors Duran and Tweel opposed.
Yeah.
Okay, so the item is on the, Mr. Kelly, do you want to read the resolution first?
Yes, Your Worship.
Do you want to do that?
Moved by Councillor McLeod, second by Councillor Duffy, that the proposed council committee appointments as recommended by the council advisory committee be approved, and further that the effective change date be Wednesday, October 14th, 2020, Your Worship.
Okay. Do you want to, you're going to sign first. Is it Councillor McLeod and who?
Duffy, Your Worship.
Can I speak
He's
now?
going to sign first.
Can I speak now?
He's the mover, so he wants to move. He wants to speak first. Can you speak? Hey, Councillor McLeod? The mover and the seconder can speak first to it. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. The City Charter and Standing Committees have been adjusted to provide councillors with additional learning opportunities and experience throughout the City Corporation. There are 11 standing committees with council serving in the roles of chair, vice chair, and members at large. The committees oversee the policies and procedures of the city departments and report back to council with recommendations and resolutions for consideration. It was determined by the Council Advisory Committee at the beginning of our term that we would review the committee structure midway through to ensure everyone gets a chance to try different committees. I think this is all, it's good to gain new perspective and deeper understanding of the work of all the other city departments. So this committee structure will take place on the 14th
of October.
It's available on our city website, along with the terms of reference and responsibilities of each committee. And the information is available at charlottetown.ca, www.charlotte.ca, by clicking on the mayor or council appointment. And I would just like to take this opportunity to thank the committee for their commitment and honesty to help make these difficult changes and decisions. This change creates excitement for staff and council and knowledge in making our city corporation stronger, Your Worship. Thank you.
Could I ask Councillor McLeod, there was a resolution passed, was it December 31st?
I was on the 31st of...
And is that on our desk? I have it here. Is it on our desk?
Yes,
Yes. So it did state clearly that there would be a review?
it does so.
So I have to go second. Do you want to speak to it?
No, thank you. No.
Okay, Councillor Tweel and then Councillor Rand.
Thank you. I think when you take into consideration the word review, I believe that the word review means all members, city council should be treated equally and fairly when it comes to consultation and collaboration. When it talks about a review. A review, to my mind, means open dialogue, open discussion. What committees would you like to sit on? Where's your interest? Where do you think you can best fulfill your responsibility as an elected official at the municipal level? Where do you think you can provide that help and that leadership? Unfortunately, that did not take place in this instance. That's very, very unfortunate, very disappointing. All due respect to the committee. There's only 10 councillors here. There's only 10, so wouldn't have taken that long of an exercise to talk to each elected official. Say, okay, what committee would you like to chair? What committees would you like to sit on? I don't think that's an erroneous ask. Don't believe for 1 minute that's an unreasonable request. I appeal to council from a fairness, quality, consideration, respect for each other, and the desires of where you'd like to participate. So, Your Worship, I guess what intrigued me, or didn't intrigue me, disappointed me, was that this exercise took place in camera, and I wonder why that wasn't done in an open forum. And yet, this is done in an open forum, where I believe we should be discussing these issues internally, so we can have a good discussion. All council, members of council have that freedom to be able to express themselves and their desires and where they'd like to go. But right now, I don't feel that, I don't believe that this was done equally and fairly. I really don't. I even see some of the committees where, who's sitting where, and I'm questioning why. Why were some able to bring forth a recommendation for this particular structure, and you have 6 councils that weren't really consulted on committees that want to chair or committees that want to participate. Again, I appeal from quality, fairness, consideration. We're only 10 members of City Council. So, with all due respect, Councilor Platt, I know you chair the particular committee. You're bringing the resolution forward. I do feel that there's no rush here. I think we need to take our time. We need to do due diligence. We need to take everyone into consideration. We're all equal partners here.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Councillor McLeod, did you want to respond to that before Councillor Ramsey speaks?
I'll just say this, that, your comments aren't very fair to your committee members. We spent a lot of time reviewing these, and we took the personalities out of it, right? And we made decisions based on what was good for the city of Charlottetown, right? And sometimes change is not a very good thing. People don't like change, right? But there was change required. There was people wanting change, and we took that mandate on. It's not a very pleasant job to do. When you're shifting people around that's been on committees for a long period of time, the unfortunate part that comes in play here is ownership, right? But you got to remember, folks, when we voted, we went door to door. We didn't come into City Hall saying, or knocking on the door saying, I'm going to be the Parks and Rec chair, and I'm going to be the Economic Development chair. We came here to represent. You came. No, I'm just saying. You're the one asking the question. I'm just saying. We came here, right, to represent your ward, and then how the city structure fits, we would take on those responsibilities. And what we're saying today is change is good. There's nothing wrong with change. Unfortunately, when you go and make it a popularity contest, we'll be down to 3 committees. So you can't do it. You gotta have common sense and fairness in play, and that's what we've done here. And that's, I'll leave it at that.
Councillor Ramsey?
Thank you. I appreciate all the work you do and everything along that line. But you said in your opening statement, Councilor McLeod, it's already on the website?
It's going to be on.
Oh, it's going to be on the website, okay, I was questioning, because that was almost a
Yeah,
slam
no, it's
dunk.
coming.
I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
misunderstood that. And at the same time, I agree with Councilor Creel on certain points that we were all consulted a year and a half ago, a year and 8 months ago, on where we would like to sit, or what are the options, and we all put the list out, right? And we all met with 2 people and all that. It's just like 4 people are telling the other 6 what to do. That's the feeling that you
Yeah,
get,
okay.
because you're turning around and you're saying, you're going here, and you're going here, and you're going here, and there's no discussion on it. That's the only thing that I'm asking for, is because if I talk to every councillor one-on-one in this room through the years and ask them how they're getting along and all that, every one of them said they enjoy what they're doing. So is the purpose of change just to satisfy certain people? Or is the purpose of change is just to say, we have this power, we're gonna change things around? I don't know, that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around.
Okay.
You know, and I appreciate the work you do at it and all that stuff.
Okay.
But at the same time, the advisory committee should have been changed too, because that's gotta be looked at.
Okay.
Councillor McLeod, could I just say one thing?
Sure.
As I said at the committee meeting, from 1855 to 2018, there was only one office that was responsible for naming the chairs and the members at large on the standing committees. That was the office of the mayor. That changed December 4th, 2018. Now it's a combination of both the office of the mayor and office of councillor. And I think what Councillor McLeod said in his opening statements, they looked at all the committees, all the members in a fair, equitable, and unbiased scope.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying, Your Worship. I'm just saying, we wish that we would have had some consolation or talks like we did the first time around, and then you say, okay, they're leaning for me to go there, but that seems to be my strong point.
Yeah. Councillor McLeod?
I can settle with it, right?
Sorry, there, sir.
I mean, but fire this right in the afternoon, I don't know.
Do you want to respond?
Yeah, again, we had the
And
list.
I'm not criticizing,
No.
I'm just saying, you know.
We are a committee, and we're making a suggestion, like any other committee. If you don't want it, then you know how to vote, right? That's all I'm saying here. Like, we've taken seriously comments made from everybody on certain situations. We're in a closed meeting because there is, according to the procedural bylaw, there are personal confidential information that has to be said, right? You don't want that in the open.
Oh, I understand.
Right? So that's why we were enclosed. We came out, voted in the open, we're here today to discuss it. Right? If you don't want it, vote no. If you want it, vote yes. And let the cards fall where they may. But I'll tell you right now, we were honest, there's nobody in that room come out smelling any better than the rest of you. Because I didn't get what I wanted. So, you know, if you look at some of the, Atlanta got HR, who in their right mind wants it? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? No, but seriously, if the committee was after things,
And
then,
that's a poor statement.
no, but you know, no.
I love HR. I'm saying I love HR. Thank
Right,
you.
right. But what I mean is, if you're really selling yourself to get something, we'll just, you know, unless you, like, certain personality likes HR, but at the end of the day, we're here about change, right? We want everyone to understand the other departments.
Councillor Rivard. Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll try not to take too much time here.
We're on a timer.
And no, I'm just trying to think my way through this. Councillor McLeod, first and foremost, I don't think this is an attack against committees or anything like that. I don't get the sense that that's what people are trying to say. While Councillor Tweel and I don't normally agree, there certainly is a perceived fairness component to this, and how the committee structure was done. So if I look back to 2018, when this initially happened, first and foremost, the advisory board was put in place prior to the committee being structured. And I guess my first question is why wouldn't the same process be followed at the 2-year review? Why wouldn't a new advisory board be put in place to look at the committee structure? First of all, taking nothing away from the current one, I'm just saying process. Secondly, I guess the other question I have is with around consultation with councillors. It happened the first time. and it didn't happen this time. So I guess, you know, I guess I'll ask this question to the CAO, Peter Kelly.
Just one second, you have to direct your question to the
I'm just
council.
wondering if anyone.
Can you answer that one first? What's your first question to the council? Did you have a
It's
question?
around the advisory board. I guess my question is why, if the process was advisory board established, then committee structure looked at, why isn't the same process being followed today at the 2-year mark? The same thing should happen because the advisory board is not, what's the word I want to use?
Etched in stone.
No, they need to change as well. That was part of the process, right? So again, if all committees are changing, why wouldn't we follow the exact same process we did back in 2018? So that's my first question.
Just
Can I
one,
point of order?
just a point of,
I
just,
don't know if that's the time or not. I just wanted to clarify Councillor Rivard's comment that I, myself, and Councillor Deputy Cody were not on the first advisory board to select.
you came after, yes, because it was a three-member board. And Mr. Kelly, just correct me if I'm wrong, was that not a vote of council because it's in our procedural bylaw?
So, Your Worship, just talk a couple things. The committee role is you are appointed by council, that is correct. So they were nominees brought forward and council did endorse.
To council.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
And with regards to the process, it was used, that there was a spreadsheet or council was asked the first time around their top 3 or 4 committees. This process, there was a brief discussion on that point that was brought forward, asking if they want to follow the same process for whatever and reason we end up here. I think they may have used that one as a basis of discussion.
We did.
But it was not, you're right, it didn't go through the same process.
Because we already had a template to work from. Just in section 42, committees of council, subsection 42.1, council shall by resolution establish a council advisory committee. So this is not similar, this is different from your standing committees. Sorry, go ahead.
It isn't. It is a standing committee. Again, if
No,
we're
it's a
reviewing
committee of
this,
council.
so according to the resolution, it says here, I'll just point out semantics, but your point. So it says here that as of December 31st, date 2018, that this would be reviewed
Yeah.
halfway through the 2-year mark. It's not December 31st. So my question is we have time to be able to review this and talk with council, get council input like the first time. We have time because technically we are not abiding by the bylaw or the resolution that was passed. Because the resolution says that as of December 31st, at the 2-year mark, we're not at the 2-year mark yet. So we still have time. And as General Manager Lou Lambrello said to the New York Governors, when you have time, use it. So again, I don't see why the sudden rush. I think it's advantageous for council to talk as a group. I mean, we're all elected officials. We all got here the same way. And again, I think this, you know, I'd like to see something around a 10-0 vote or a 9-1 vote at the end of this. It'd be nice. That's the history of these kind of committee meetings, because there's consultation. In this case, there wasn't, and I just have a feeling that the vote is going to be much more split. And I just think it's going to cause unnecessary grief. And I think there's an opportunity to go back and revisit and talk and see if we can find something that's much closer. So I would certainly like to defer it, just have an opportunity. And again, we're not saying that, I'm not taking away from the hard work of the committee. I just think that we're not at the 2-year mark and perceive fairness. That's all, just an opportunity to express where I'd like to maybe sit as opposed to just someone telling me this is where you're going.
The 2-year mark would be November. December 31st was because it took us that long to get where we were. Right? We met all through the Christmas holidays of that first year when the new mayor came in. We changed the complete structure in the terms of reference of every committee, right? Along with advisory. So it took us to December 31st when the resolution was passed. But November is our 2-year mark.
And just remember, it's like fixed elections every 4 years, but they're pretty flexible. Anyways,
Just
could
follow.
you just, okay, yes.
Just a
go ahead.
follow-up question to that. So again, I guess my question is why the sudden rush? And I mean, again, we have an opportunity, honestly, as a council, as a group, of coming together a little bit and talking about this and saying, is this something that you were interested in? Do you want to try something new? I mean, Councillor McLeod had rebuttal for, I think, for Councillor Tweel, and he says that people want to change. And listen, I don't disagree. But some people didn't want change. But I'm not saying that change is not bad or good. It's just that it should, as an elected official, equal to those members sitting on the committee, except yourself, who knocked on more doors. There needs to be that common respect amongst the council. And that's all I'm asking for, is that we defer it until we come back and discuss it as a group. That's all.
Can I jump in here for a second?
Councillor McCabe, just 1 second. I have Councillor Duffy, Bernard, and then you'll be next. So you're after Councillor Bernard. Councillor Duffy.
Thank you, Your Worship. In regards to the list that we received, what was it, 20 months ago or whatever?
December 28th, 2018.
Okay, so it's short of 2 years. We had that list. We had that list in our package. We know what the people wanted, but we can't give everybody what everybody wants. It just doesn't work that way. We have, 40 spots to fill? Well, we have 10 committees and we need 4 people. We have 40 spots to fill. And if everybody wants to pile in, we'd have 9 chairs of Parks and Recreation. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. We had sensitivities we were aware of that people have, and I'll not go any further, that we had to accommodate if we could. We worked hard at it. So I kind of take a bit of offense at some of the things that's being said here at dinner time today. Take a look at the committees, as Councillor McLeod alluded to. Did we get the honeymoon committees? Look what I got, Parks or Planning. I mean, it's hard to get 4 people to sit on planning. They run like scalded dogs when you even mention the word. So was the committee overly generous with me or abiding to me? Look at Councillor McLeod with Public Works. It looks like a great portfolio till you get into it and realize all the headaches involved. And Councillor Bernard will vouch for that, being there 16 or 17, 18 years.
12.
12. Oh, sorry.
But it felt like 18.
So, Councillor Yankoff with HR, with the code of conduct we've got on the go, we've got COVID issues on the go, we've got union contracts to settle. It's hard to find a friend when you're the chair of HR. And finally, but not least, Deputy Mayor Cody with finance. I mean, if there's any unwanted chairmanship next to planning, it's Councillor Deputy Mayor Cody. So to think that we favored anyone, including ourselves, I think it's just folly. As usual, when people are unhappy with an outcome, usually the first thing they do is they criticize the process. And why are we doing it so early this time? Is because we had the experience of the first time. We got at it early, we wanted to meet our deadlines, so we wanted to be ready to go. And with good cooperation, good spirit among all 5 elected people and the staff in that committee room, we did a pretty good job. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think there's anything to criticize. And as far as why is it open today in the meeting of the committee, I'll reiterate what Councillor McLeod said. Recommendations are worked out in a closed door environment setting. The decisions are made in this council chamber by a recommendation from a committee, and therefore they're in the open session. That's a very easy question. That question shouldn't even be brought into this chamber. Anyway, Your Worship, I think it's a job well done. I think Councillor McLeod and the rest of the members did a great job, and the staff. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Councillor Bernard.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to reiterate some of the stuff that was said, but anyway, I think the committee responsible for coming up with these recommendations for these structures, and they met behind closed doors, and that makes sense to me when you're talking to people. And, so under the MGA, it was a right for them to be able to do it. Now it's in an open forum. They've made recommendations, and that they didn't really tell everybody what they're doing. They don't tell everybody where they're going. These are recommendations. It's funny. I find when we run for office, we don't run with the expectations we're going to sit in certain committees or chair certain committees. And I don't recall any year whenever new committee chairs, new committee structures were presented that everybody was happy. I don't think you can make everybody happy. I think what the committee does is they try their best to put people in certain places. They look at people up there for a while. They look at people that haven't been. They try and move things around. Personally, I really don't care where I am as an elected official. I think we're all supposed to work together to try and make the city as best we can. We all have responsibilities within our chairmanships, and I think as a team of 11 of us here, we move to try and make improvements in those portfolios we can give. So I'm okay with it. I don't really need to have conversations. I'd like to have this or I'd like to have that. we all would like to have that, but I assume we did that the first time, and I'm assuming those
That list is there.
lists or whatever was something that would have been reviewed again. So I just, you know, at the end of the day, I don't think everybody's 100% happy. I don't think you make everybody 100% happy. So personally, you know, I'm okay with it. I guess it's a challenge. You look forward to a new challenge. So.
Councillor McCabe.
Yes.
Councillor Yankoff.
Thank you. I just want to thank the committee as well for their work. I do appreciate the change is difficult for all of us. You know, it's learning something new, it's getting in there and starting again, really. And I am going to say I do love HR, so this isn't a personal me looking for
Thank
change.
you, Julie.
But I
Thank
do
you,
think that
Councillor
what?
Thank you.
I'm not done.
No, I said thank you for your service.
Oh, yeah,
Keep going.
okay. But I just think that, yeah, for me it was kind of change for all or change for none. I wasn't interested in looking at switching some of us around or not. And I also think that, you know, I'm excited if we have an opportunity to learn new committees and work with some new people that maybe we haven't worked with. And I just think that maybe we should vote on the resolution that is on the floor, and from there, we can go from there. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I'm going with Councillor Ramsey and then Councillor Yankoff.
No, mine's just the last, and this is not gonna question anybody, it's just a statement.
Yes.
And change is good.
Yes.
We're all getting older every day, and I get much older last Friday.
Happy birthday.
But I'm just saying, and I really thank the board for doing, you know, for working hard at this stuff and all that. And change is good, and I don't mind change. And I'm not lobbying for anything else or anything on that line. But because I know that you're gonna work with other groups and see how other things go on, but that's what your standing committees also operate too. Because everybody sits on different standing committees as a member and all that. So you learn as you go. And I don't think any of us in here can sit here and say that I know everything, because you're gonna learn as you go. So, like, that was only my whole statement of the whole thing, is that it's not a hill I'm gonna die on. I know how hard some people work, but the thing that's still stuck in my craw is that the CAC didn't change that committee too, which should have been in the whole thing. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Councillor Yankoff.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you.
I really just wanted to say that it was the first time I've been through this process, and it was a learning experience. I got to know our group in a different way. I felt we were very, very fair. I really stand by this. I'm proud of the work we did. It was a lot of hours. And I want to thank the chair and the rest of the committee. And I do want to say that I will be supporting the hard work that we did in the committee. And I appreciate having the opportunity to have gone through that process for the first time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Yankoff, and thank you for your participation in the committee. Councillor Rivard.
Thank you. So just back to the question again, I didn't get an answer. So we talked about the timing once again. I guess my first question is why the rush? Why not the opportunity to talk to council? I get that. I understand there's a spreadsheet that we all filled in 2 years ago. Things change. We talk about learning opportunities. So when I look at the committee structure, I look at learning opportunities. For me personally, and I can only speak for myself, nothing's changed. For me, except that I'm not chair planning, which is great, super. But I stay in all the same committees. So there's no other opportunities for me. I've expressed interest in sitting on Public Works. I've expressed interest in sitting on Park and Rec to learn different committees. Nothing's changed for me. So this whole change is good, change is, I'm not seeing it. So again, this is why I'm saying, it'd be great to sit down and say, hey, listen, is there an opportunity maybe to switch one of those committees and maybe I can sit on Park and Rec or Public Works and do what everyone's saying here, which is learn new things. But every committee that I'm still on. So it kind of debuffs that.
Councillor McLeod.
Well, you're not on 3 committees that you were on before.
No,
Planning, like you got.
planning
You're
is
gone,
on, but
right?
all the committees,
Right.
all what happened is like I moved up. I'm just saying, if it's a learning opportunity, as I'm, just me personally,
Yeah.
then nothing's changed.
I understand. But, again, change is good.
But nothing's changed.
We can't change everybody.
Yeah.
You, for example, for me and you, being chair of the police committee, what that meant for me, I don't want to get into individual scenarios here, but for me, going forward, we need somebody that understands numbers really well. We know somebody that's been on finance, which is yourself. You'd understand how finances works. And we promised that we want to try and do a traffic division. Who better than to take the lead charge but Greg Rivera?
As an example.
As an example, just as an example, right? So there's decisions that are made there, guys, that you gotta really think outside the box. It's not all about one individual person, right? And at the end of the day, our committee went through all them scenarios and we come up with this list, right? And that's where it is. And as far as what to rush, we're going through COVID. And in the next few months, we're gonna have a heck of a lot of decisions to make, right? Do you want a new finance chair late November, December? Or would it be best to get him in place now so he can get his feet wet? And when these harsh decisions come here this fall, when restaurants or whatever, or what a business, and people are looking for money, would it not be best to have our committees in place and ready to go to make these harsh decisions? That's probably, but November is our time anyway. So October 14th or November 1st, did it make any difference? But it isn't a time factor when you're thinking, let's get our committees rolling, let's get everybody in the new positions, have some fun with this, and make some good decisions for the city of Charlotte.
So
And just again, to reiterate a point that was made by Councillor Duff, we had 40 positions to roll around. Did it work out perfectly? You said it couldn't. You know, we tried our best to make it work perfectly, but, you know, the last time we went through this, remember we had to meet all around Christmas of 2018. Remember that?
15 meetings over Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
But your worship,
Okay,
I can follow
this
on.
is your
That's fine.
second time. This is just,
I'm not suggesting for a second that there wasn't a whole lot of hard work put into this. I'm not suggesting that. I'm not, you guys are, I think you're missing the point a little bit. I'm saying that if this thing isn't implemented as Councillor McLeod said, October or November, let's say it's November, I mean, again, my question then is there an appetite to at least sit there and look at it, and maybe there's an opportunity that maybe I'd come off as a member large out of the committee and go into something and something new. Just minor little tweaks. I'm not saying that you have to reinvent the wheel. I'm just saying that maybe there's an opportunity for something. That's all I'm suggesting. Why the rush? And is there an opportunity to make tiny amendments to this? But again, with me seeing this for the first time yesterday, no opportunity. I don't have any time to talk to anybody. I don't have any time to make those suggestions. That's all.
Councillor Twill, second time. This is your second.
Well, yeah, again, it's not I'm not saying the committee didn't work hard. That's not what we're saying. We just feel that the process would have been completed a lot better if the committee would have had a chance to talk to each member of council. There's not that many of us, okay? Where are you comfortable going? I mean, you know, you talk about sensitivity. Well, I mean, you got me one committee here that's extremely sensitive, not just for me, but also for my family. And I'm not going to be able to participate there. I shared that with the CAO, another committee. I've been on the same committee for 20 years. So you talk about experiencing new things and learning new things. Well, how does sitting on the same committee for 20 years line up with that much? Well, it doesn't.
Corporate history.
Pardon me?
You always talk about corporate history.
I understand. Your worship, with all due respect, I got the floor.
No,
So,
I just wanted to add that.
yeah, I wish you know what? I wish you wouldn't interrupt.
Okay, guys, let's stay on
Okay,
focus.
so, you know, I like Councillor Redard, Councillor Ramsey. I think, what I'd like to do is send this back to the committee, or, you know, maybe we need to make changes there. I don't know, but I don't think we're there yet. I really don't. And all due respect to each one who's sat in the committee, I don't think we're there yet. And we got an opportunity here to look at some of these committees, and then have some consultation with each member of the committee, and then bring back a revised list. So I think that's a reasonable request. It's a responsible request. It's a respectful request, and I would hope that the committee would be open to that. Chair McLeod, I really do. I would hope that the committee would be open to that. So that we all have a sense of fairness, a sense of quality, that we had a chance to collaborate, to have consultations, and come out as one unit. So that's how I feel. Members of council, and, you know, just to come in here and, like I say, we just got this yesterday. I'm at a committee meeting, and I read that, and I go, well, what's all this? What's all this? Why a rush job? So, not disagreeing with the work you put into it, I'm not saying that. I just don't think the work is complete. Just don't
Councillor,
believe the work is complete.
Councillor Duffy, but just one thing about the sense of fairness. I think all committee members on the CAC could honestly say that we treated this whole process very, very fair. I sense that. Am I wrong, Councillor McLeod? And one of the issues that we did look at was the corporate history that some of our councillors do have. Councillor Duffy?
Thank you, Your Worship. Your Worship, I think everybody's had a chance to speak, some twice. I think it's time for the question. He's not going anywhere. I move that we approve the resolution.
Seconded by Councillor McLeod? Okay, all those in favor? Put up your hands.
I'm in favor.
In favor of the motion, Your Worship?
Yes, in favor of the motion. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Councillor McCabe, yes?
Yes, I'm in favor.
6. Those
No,
against?
Kevin was in favor.
Kevin, did you put your hand up?
Yeah, and I know we can't speak on it anymore. The only thing I just stuck in my mind is why that other group was not changed to.
Yep, that'll become, okay, Kevin, are you in favor?
Yes.
Okay, 7-4, okay, those against, please raise your hands. Opposed, Councillors Tweel, Rivard, and Durant.
So that means.
That
so I
means
understand.
there's a motion to
Just
adjourn.
before we go any further, so that means you set these committees, whether it's a sensitive issue or not.
You get a legal opinion, I think we did get a legal opinion, did we, Mr. Kelly? Okay. Motion to adjourn? All those in favor? Mr. Kelly, you have the motion.
Yes, bye.
Thank you. I don't think, oh, is this?